Moderators and guests, welcome to the 5th episode of HCTV. I'm Tuan Tran.
I'm Sophia G.
I'm Catherine Armitage.
I'm Dustin Schumann.
I'm Gio Contini.
I'm Shania Patrick.
And this is HCTV. This
is HCTV.
In today's episode, we will talk about the top stories around the world, have a discussion, and continue our story.
Join us on today's adventure.
Welcome everybody to In the News. So today on In the News, we have to say that the Spiritwear Wednesdays are back. So send in a picture to the Angus Army Instagram to get featured on our page wearing your Spiritwear.
Student Council is also hosting another bake-off. It's March break themed and also St. Patrick's Day. Stay tuned for more information that'll be posted on our social media.
Raider Card Out of Uniform Day is March the 16th for Cohort A and March the 18th for Cohort B. If you don't have a Raider card, no need to fear. Bring in $3 to be out of uniform.
Students who are interested in applying for the Student Senate Community Representative can do that by clicking the link in the Instagram account for the Niagara Catholic Senate. Check their Instagram for more information.
Oh, and their Instagram is just Niagara Catholic Senate, so
yeah, you have to do that. You have to do that by April 9th.
You sure do.
You have
Our
to.
special podcast discussion episode, which is on social media and mental health, is out now as we speak. You guys want to find that? Search HCTV, the podcast show, on YouTube to view this special episode.
Alrighty, so guys, we've been doing a lot of online and in-school learning. I wanted to know, what are some tips and advice you guys have for our listeners for maintaining mental health and for, keeping up with school and everything, and with everything going on? So what are some tips and tricks and advice you guys have for our listeners?
Honestly, online, it's really easy to get discouraged quickly. And I think that seeing the list of assignments can be overwhelming sometimes. But honestly, seeing the list, if seeing the list makes you nervous, I say doing things that will help, like art, or like going on a walk, or like taking a break even. It's okay. Sometimes we all need a break, and the list is overwhelming, and teachers understand. And
I totally agree. Did you guys hear that too? Hello?
Oh, someone.
I heard that.
Okay, I'm sorry. I didn't. Okay, anyway, sorry. I was just gonna say. I don't know.
Okay, moving on.
Yeah, sorry, Sophia. I totally agree with that. One of the things that I do is I go for like a walk break, or I read sometimes, anything to refresh the mind. I'll even just sit in my room with the lights off, listen to some music, and that really helps reset my brain so that I can continue to focus when I come back. And I think that's one of the best things you can do, because if you're going on for like 2-3 hours straight, you're just gonna get fatigued eventually, and even just like a 10-minute break is gonna save you so much in the long run. Breaks are definitely worth it. And try picking up a new book. That'll help your mind stay fresh. So that's my recommendation.
Another thing about the online school is that it gets really tiring if you're in events like doing it. What do you mean?
You just cut off. What do you mean? What do I mean?
You kind of just post mid-section.
You're like, what do you mean? Excuse me? You got like personally offended by that.
It's like when you're on FaceTime and they're like, no, it's not my Wi-Fi, it's yours. Like,
right?
I don't know, I get it. Yeah.
Right.
Okay, but like moving around your house is such a good way to like get motivated again. Like, even if you're just moving around your own room, like being in a different setting for me definitely helps with gaining more motivation to work.
Another thing that I help with studying and staying motivated is having a good work environment, like making sure your environment is clean, you have good lighting, good ventilation, good posture. Because a lot of the times if you're just like laying in bed trying to do something, it's not going to work out. You kind of need that good environment that's free of distractions. You're not going to get distracted. Put away your phone when you're studying, and like open up your blinds. That really helps. Yeah, try to find like
what's best for you and like how you work the best. Like, for example, if you listen to music and then you get all your work done doing that, try doing that, and that should motivate you.
For me, it was just if I'm in like in a relaxing space without any distractions or like things that could like take me away from my work, it really helped me to be like, okay, this is the only thing I got to focus on right now, because like my Italian family talks a lot. Like they're like doing my work. I found doing it like, I don't know, in the living room or in the kitchen was hard for me because everyone would be talking and everyone would be like saying things and being loud. It was kind of hard for me to focus. No shade, by the way, from my family. I'm just saying it was kind of loud. And can I redo that? Actually, I don't. Is there
No,
could, like,
that's good. That's relatable.
Yeah, I know, but like I don't want people to be like, "Oh, Miss Contini's loud."
No, I think that
you
goes
just said
with like,
you just said your whole family's loud.
Yeah, I know, but she's a part of that.
I think that goes with like pretty much every like household, right? You always have like people doing stuff and going back and forth and stuff like that. So it can get distracting at times, right? But I think if you find like what Shania said, find like a quiet place to work, something that's relaxing, you know, no distractions. Don't sit in front of your TV and do work. You know, just finding a balance that fits for you and your lifestyle and how you study, how you know, do work, and just stick to it and find something, you know, that works for you. And
guys, I thought you guys were ignoring me. I talked like 10 times and you guys kept talking over me. My microphone was off. I was so confused. I'm sorry. Anyway. What are you guys talking?
Yeah.
This is just a mess.
This is the second podcast in a row I think you brought in a cheese string.
Those are good.
Special guest.
Wait, Dustin, you eating again?
No.
Special guest cheese string.
Yeah, but yeah, so
growing boy.
Yeah, just to finish that off, it's like, you know, find a balance and find what works for you, and you know the best that you can do, and you know just stick to it. And
get a study buddy. Like find a friend who, like, even if they're not in the same class as you, find a friend to do work with. If you have questions, and to like motivate each other to study.
While social distancing, of course.
Yes.
Yeah.
Also, I have two more things. It is important to get study snacks, as Dustin's eating a cheese string. Personally, I like cucumbers and crackers.
Oh, I got cucumbers! Sorry. I got like a whole grocery store out here. I'm sorry.
Barbecue chips are my motivation.
Oh wait. No, I'm kidding.
If only you had that would be.
Could you imagine?
It's like Hermione's bag, just like pull anything out.
Right? That would be cool.
So anyway, I like cucumbers and cheese and crackers. Very, very good. And they started this new thing. I forgot what the website is called, but basically you can join a Zoom call with like 300 people and they all study and everybody's muted and you can just study with a bunch of random people. It's kind of, I don't know.
Well, that's pretty cool.
You just watch them study?
Going off of the eat snacks, drink lots of water, stay hydrated.
Oh! Sorry.
Drink water. That will help your brain.
It sure will. That's why mine is full. Sorry.
Your brain is
full of carbonation.
That's why my water bottle is full. As you guys.
Because your brain is full.
I thought you meant because your brain was full. Full of what?
That's what I was gonna say.
Don't diss me on the podcast.
Well, really, it's too late for
I'm
that.
doing my thing.
It is way too late for
on
that.
On the podcast.
It says you, Dustin.
Huh? What you doing to me last episode, huh?
You know what? That's a little. You are almost as ignorant as Angus the fish lately. I'm gonna eat my cucumber in peace.
Yeah, okay. You just completely ignores the question.
Yep, exactly. Yeah. So those are all great advice and tips that you listeners can use, and just to get through this, and hopefully we can all get back into in-person learning sometime, and things get back to normal, and we can go back to our regular schedules and routines. But for the time being, I guess, good luck.
Yeah.
Why is Sophia like She's like, what? Did you just wish me good luck? Excuse me.
I thought he said a different word. I was like, what?
Hey!
It sounded like he said something that started with an F, and I was like, what?
Good luck.
Okay.
Okay,
Thanks, Juan.
no more close calls. Okay.
No problem.
Okay.
Oh,
So,
boy.
listeners, we're now moving on to our interview section. Yay! So, this week's guests are very special to Holy Cross and our student council. They're some of the friendliest and the nicest people at Holy Cross, which makes them easy to talk to. So, this week's guests are our one and only student council moderators, Ms. Lepine and Mrs. Bridges.
Woo! Yeah.
Hey listeners, welcome to the interview section. Today we have two very special guests. We have Ms. Bridges and Ms. Lepine. So our first question we want to ask them comes from our Instagram poll, which a student by the name of Juliet Piliteri asked, how many years have you been working at HC?
Ooh, good question. I'll start because this is actually my third year at Holy Cross. Is it third year, Ms. Lepine? Wow, it seems like it's been longer. I've just kind of flown right in there. I love it. Yeah, 3 years. This is my third year for me. How about you?
It has been 5 years for me since I have been at Holy Cross.
Beautiful. Should I tell them actually how long I've been with the board?
Yeah, sure.
No.
Oh, no.
That's a big number.
Classified information.
All right, and another question is, what is your favorite thing to do? Like in your free time?
In your free time.
In your free time.
So for me, living so close to the canal system, I'm an avid kayaker.
Really?
Yes, an avid kayaker, and I enjoy closed water such as the canal, but it's also great to get out by the Jordan Conservation Club, which is right off the highway. Everybody recognizes, I call it that pirate ship that you pass when you're on the highway.
Oh, yeah.
Sometimes there. So I would say that, and
Uh-oh, we can't hear her.
I'm having troubles hearing you.
You missed that answer?
It's
Yeah,
I did. Nope.
It's top secret.
Mrs. Bridges.
Okay, I'll go. Ooh, free time is a little tough for me because I still have 3 younger kids at home. So I often don't have a lot of it, but when I do, I really enjoy walking. Walking my dog is kind of my sense of my own time to myself to kind of just reflect on my day and have peace and quiet, and all the chaos that is, all things at school, all things with kids, all things COVID. It's just a nice kind of way to relax.
If there was one thing you could tell the student body, what would it be?
I'll take. I have an answer for that one just because it was an answer that came to use to me this morning. And
Oh, man.
Oh, no.
Don't leave us in suspense like that.
Like
If
a
I
build-up
had
to answer, and then it's like glitch.
Okay, if I had to share one thing, I would say practice the pause. I think all things COVID, we have been in crisis modes for a year now. And I think, when we think something is short term, we're able to manage and function in that place, right? But the reality is this is turning into longer term than we expected. And sometimes if we don't practice the pause, I think we get into a place of, well, we shouldn't be feeling down. We should not be struggling. We should not be having any problems because, we have food, these, yes, well, those things, and we're certainly grateful for those things. To practice the pause, just pause and reflect and regroup and allow yourself that time for whatever it is you're feeling.
If there was one thing that you could say, oh,
Mrs. Bridges didn't get to go.
oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, that's okay. I liked Miss Lepine's answer was beautiful, so it's okay. I I would just go on top of that too and just remember to practice the kindness, right? I love our school motto of kindness lives here. So I think that that's a good lesson to follow. Just practice kindness. So to yourself, to others, to anybody within your life and your bubble. I think it's just an important quality to have because, you know, it can always lift somebody's day up and not even knowing it. So it's just practicing the kindness to others is important.
If there was one thing that you could tell the whole world, what would you say?
Whole world.
I think Jesus is love one another.
Mm-hmm.
I think that is just the one thing that if we all
It does. She's talking, just silence.
Mine would kind of be along the same lines. I think it would just be that no one is better than anyone else. I think we're all, you know, equal in humanity, and I think we're all, you know, God's creatures and loving of one another. So I don't think anybody has anything better than anybody else, and I think it's just again, back to the kindness piece, is just treat each other with respect.
Mm-hmm.
Those are great points.
Yeah, I think that links with our episode on social media and the impacts of mental health and social media, where we try to explain, you know, that everyone has different qualities, have different talents and everything. So we should be appreciative of the people we are and our talents, our dreams and everything, and we shouldn't base it off of someone else, right? And I think that really plays into, like, you know, believing in yourself and being the best you can be, and not worrying about someone else. Yeah.
Absolutely.
I
And
think
even
that's
building
important
somebody
message.
else up too, right? Build each other up. Why knock each other down when we can build ourselves up?
Exactly. Push everybody to be the best person they can be.
Yeah.
And listeners, if you haven't checked that video out, it's already released on our YouTube, so go check that out after this video.
Yeah, after this one, of course. You just gotta wait. You gotta wait. So I was gonna ask, what are your opinions on the student council as our moderators? And do you think that students who are up for the task of being part of student council, do you think they should take that opportunity?
So I think we have an exceptional council this year. We have both seasoned members is an understatement. I agree. There's sometimes a perception that, well, in light of COVID, how homecoming, we're not having all of these physical activities, so therefore it must just be easy street for our council this year. And I think if anything, our council has to work exceptionally harder in a very different way to keep our raters and our community engaged. And for that, you have done an outstanding job. I think a message to anybody considering coming on to council, as you know, elections are going to be open shortly, or not, you know, the application process. And I'm sure each of you would advise anybody coming to you to ask, and to you, I mean the council members currently. It's not an easy ride, you know, it's a big responsibility. There's a special place in my heart for you guys, sir.
I love how she froze right on a smile.
I know.
Yeah.
I actually echo all the same sentiments as Ms. Lepine, honestly. I have never moderated student council before, and to actually come in and do it this year with you guys, I mean, you've made it super easy. I mean, you guys are on the ball, you are organized, you're stepping up to the tasks. I mean, you really have strong qualities as a council, and I think anybody next year who's even considering council really should give it a shot, because it's certainly an experience and a learning curve and awesome things to do for Holy Cross.
And I think communication is a big part of that. You're exceptional again, even in your communication. I know there's never a long pause, whether it's a group, usually by stopping by our offices all the time, you know what I mean? And that you have a 20-minute break, and out of that 20 minutes, most of you spend most of that time speaking with us about some small details and things.
All right, what are some good tips to improve mental health during these tough times?
Mrs. Bridges, over to you.
Yeah, okay. Honestly, I think it's just self-reflection and taking care of yourself. It's really, you have to, oh man, all things COVID. I don't think any of us thought this would be going on this long. And we are certainly all feeling the crunch and the sorrow of missing our friends, our sports, our family, our activities, our normal, regular daily school routines. And we've really just rolled with the punches and become quite resilient. But you really still have to remember, like, it's okay sometimes to not be okay, and acknowledge that. And then put some plan in action of, okay, so then how do I be okay? What can I do for myself, kind of thing, right? Like, do I need some time to reflect? Do I need some time for myself in relaxation? Is schoolwork getting to me? Do I need to change my environment? Just any of those and all of those pieces is just really reflecting on, you know, how you're handling things, and know that it's okay to ask for help. It's never, ever, ever not a problem. You always need to ask for help if you need it.
And I think to add to that, prayer is just as important, and taking the time for that prayer. You know, in a time where our agendas have slowed down completely, we tend to want to fill that time with activity or this feeling of productiveness, or, you know, but that quiet time to be mindful of the presence of God in your life.
Okay, so I was just thinking about this, right? And 2 episodes ago, we were talking about the movie Back to the Future. And we were talking about, if you had the option to time travel, where would you go, and like, who would you meet? Where would you go? And for most of us, except for Sophia, who wants to go to the dinosaur age, but most of us said the 1980s or around that time period, right? So I want to like ask you this question, like, where would you go and what would you do or see?
It wouldn't be the 80s because I had really bad bangs. Wouldn't be the 80s for me. I always thought it'd be kind of cool to go back to like the 50s era. Just that whole like rock and roll era, that whole just new, I don't know, that would always be kind of a cool time frame for me.
I think it's really interesting how everyone's saying like the era where our parents grew up, that's where we want to go.
Good point.
Because you said 50s, we're saying 80s. Apparently Sophia's parents are like dinosaurs, but no offense, Miss Gandola or Mr. Gandola. I'm just Sophia said it, not me. I didn't.
I don't have an, like, I think of and I can't be you would, because you want to go to the 80s. So clearly, when I think of a place like Little House on the Prairies, or a time those days and it was like horse-drawn carriages and things like that, I think there's simplicity. I think I don't know, I've always been charmed by the idea of a bartering system, you know. So Tuan, if you know how to build houses, but the next person grows some sort of crop that you can use in your, you know, and I imagine there's romances to a system like that, you know, instead of just a complete money driven, you know. I don't know. That's always been near to my heart. I don't know that I would do well, but certainly I think it's a novel idea.
That actually does sound cool now that you think about it. Just like
yeah, I changed my answer. Go back.
I think like traders, just like
I think like each decade or each like
building your own house, right? Like living off the land and all those kinds of things. That'd be kind of cool.
Mm-hmm. I think like every decade or every like
take down my house.
Can I ask my famous question?
We're interrupting Tuan, but
go ahead.
Oh, are we? Oh, I didn't even know.
I
didn't even know.
Go ahead, Dustin.
This always happens.
This is super important. This is super important. This is the most important thing. City life or cabin life?
Oh
cabin.
My God.
Cabin?
Cabin.
See?
Okay.
Cabin.
Wow.
I love. Yeah, for me,
I'm actually an outdoors person.
Right. And I
That's
love
true.
the idea of, like, I've been to New York City, and you even think of something as Toronto and things like that. And I think going for me, this is just personally, for a small window of time to take in.
Time.
She's thinking about it.
To get in those experiences and those exposures. But for me, I after spending a few days there, I noticed
he notices
no eye contact, no conversation, no. And I think in that fast pace, it can be easy to be disengaged. And so that's why I choose cabin versus.
I never even thought about it like that. Yeah,
That's a good answer.
And it's like, yeah, because like the city life is so like busy. You don't have time to just like stop and just like take stuff in
And
just
appreciate
like for yourself. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, reconnect with nature kind of thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
I say city life, but with cabin life breaks. You know what I mean?
Okay.
With
Well,
little
and I suppose
vacations.
either of them, right? A balance of either of those would be very healthy.
Yeah.
You know, they each have their benefits, right?
I just find something so peaceful about being able to just go, go out to a cabin or a cottage or something. And my family's all things fishing and fire, sitting by the fire and listening to some music. And it's just a nice kind of connecting time too, right?
Outdoorsy kind of people.
However, from an artistic point of view, the Broadway shows and live theater and music and things like that are also
very good point. Yes.
have their appeal.
They both have lots of pros and cons.
Right.
Yep.
Well, listeners, that is all for our interview section. We thank you so much for Ms. Lepine and Ms. Bridges. Thank you for coming out on your busy day and talking to us, and we really appreciate it.
No problem. We appreciate you. Thanks, guys.
Take care, Raiders. Have a great weekend.
Bye.
Bye, guys. Take care.
Hello, listeners. We are now moving into the story section of the podcast. How this will work is throughout the podcast, you'll hear a cheesy fictional story of our character who attends Holy Cross.
You will hear different drama, academics, and issues happening in his life. Without further ado, here's Catherine Armitage.
This story is called Stairwell Surprises. It's been 1 week, only one whole week from the last incident, and I know our ghost is back. It started on Monday. I started noticing little differences in the way stuff at school acted. Objects started twitching, and you could almost feel presence with you. No one else seemed to notice. Maybe I was only on edge because of the recent encounters with the ghost. It is now Wednesday, and these occurrences do not stop. I decided to ask my friend, who you may remember from our first issue in the math classroom, if he had noticed anything. No, I can't say I have noticed anything strange, trembling, or anything like that, my friend replied. He paused and then said, I'm sorry, Taylor, but maybe I could keep my eye out for something? Time seemed to pass quickly through this break, so we went back to our classes. After finishing the school day, I meet him after class at the front. Anything, I ask? Nothing. What? I noticed that this afternoon was particularly bad. Oh no, I know exactly what is happening. The ghost is most likely targeting me. If anyone, my friend would be experiencing these issues since he was with me the first time. Let's hope this does not get any worse. I arrive at school the next morning expecting a long day of these issues. Instead, something worse happens. As usual, I arrive at school earlier than most students. My classroom is upstairs, so I head to the stairwell. And there it was. The figure that started it all, the ghost, was standing in the corner. I must have jinxed it yesterday when I was hoping for nothing bad to happen. As soon as it saw me, it vanishes. Oh boy, why does it keep disappearing? I look down and see a small trail of water again. Not so sneaky. I followed it until I head back to the stairwell near the math class. The ghost was standing right there. This time, it faced towards me but did not vanish. After 3 minutes of my school supplies flying around by the ghost and trying to get a good shot at the ghost, I finally hit the ghost with my water. Yay, I thought for a split second. And then it gets worse. You may think the ghost vanishes, and I continue on with my day. However, this time, the ghost splits into 3 smaller ghosts. Instead of 1 ghost, we now have 3 on our hands. The bell rings, and I have to go to class. Okay, listeners, stay tuned for the next episode to see what happens to Taylor and these 3 ghosts. Today's lesson is to always verify with others to make sure you have your facts right. Taylor would not have known the ghost was affecting him without the help of his friend.
Okay. Gio, we both, okay. As soon as it said the ghost turned from 1 to like 3 after she hit it, all I could think about was the slimes from Minecraft. Right?
Oh my God.
Right?
That was
I know you were thinking that. I knew you were. I knew you were. Right? Sorry. Anyways, guys.
I swear, like staircases and wells are like a recipe for disaster.
Staircases
you can
and
fall
wells.
right down though.
Or staircase and stairwells.
Like the
You
two
just
just
fall in.
didn't mix in my head. I was like, you know, like a water well and just like a staircase. I was like, well,
Okay.
okay.
I mean, I can't even like tell you how many times I've walked up those stairs, the same stairs every single day, and continue to trip on like the last step.
Right.
Right.
Those stairs are weird. They're like the stairs in Harry Potter. They just keep changing. Like, I swear they're different every time.
And stairs, like, why have gym when you can have stairs? You know what I mean?
Exactly.
In the morning,
It's a workout going up those stairs.
I get tired like going up. Like
Guys,
Why
if
can't
you
we
like
have
the
one
podcast, give us a thumbs up and be sure to subscribe.
And if you have any questions or things you would like us to talk about, leave them in the comment section below.
Please do.
That is it for this week, Raiders and guests. Make sure to follow at the Angus Army on Instagram and at HC Student Council on TikTok for more information regarding events and news.
remember to stay safe and stay kind. I'm Tuan Tran.
I'm Sophia G.
I'm Catherine Armitage.
I'm Dustin Schumann.
I'm Gio Contini.
I'm Shania Patrick.
And this has been HCTV. See you next time, listeners.